morning and happy Tuesday. I'm trying this again and I'm praying to God that the audio works, because if it doesn't work this time, then I don't know what to do. But I have been away for a few weeks from my channel, and I just wanted to take a minute to kind of explain why. Things unfortunately have not been smooth with Tim's transition from his old company to the new one. And you guys already know how anxious I was about this transition to begin with. So having it not go seamlessly has been really, really stressful. I won't get into like too much detail, but luckily all of the people are wonderful. Everyone was trying their hardest to kind of like figure out what was going on, but there was just a lot of onboarding issues, a lot of like paperwork that was missing, a lot of things that we were told in his offer letter and in the job listing that actually just were not true. One of those biggest things being our insurance. Our health insurance was supposed to start day one, and we found out that that's actually not true, and that it starts April 1st. So that was kind of hard to hear, because we weren't anticipating being out of insurance at all, let alone 3 months. So that's been stressful and difficult. And yeah, so it's just been a mix of things. So again, with it not going seamless, it's made my anxiety just shoot through the roof. The one good thing is that obviously he is getting paid, but we're on week 5 now, so he's been there for 5 weeks, and things are still not fully figured out, but they're better. But I mean, there were the first like 2 to 3 weeks, I mean, there were days where he was just home, or they couldn't figure something out, and it was just, yeah. So that's been stressful. And then for me, come August, my job is also going to be changing a lot, which also is super, super stressful and sad. So just been dealing with a lot of like changes, and which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, everybody at Tim's new company has been really wonderful and working their hardest to figure out all of these setbacks, and so he's in a wonderful environment. And with my position changing, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just it's at that point where it's time for things just to be different. And for those that don't know, I'm a career nanny. I've been working with kids for over 15 years. I've been nannying for over 10 of those 15 years. And with nannying, unfortunately, there comes an expiration date. And I usually I've been with this family for going on 4 years. It'll be 4 years this year, and I typically start with a family when their children are babies, infants, newborns, and see them through elementary school, because then at the point of elementary school, you're not needed full-time anymore. So that's kind of what's happening. School is gonna be starting in August for the youngest little one, preschool, and they're only gonna need me part-time now. And so I'm met with a decision of either trying to find another family to fill in those morning hours and then work with my family right now in the afternoon, which combined those two families would be full-time, or completely separate, look for a new family to work full-time with. Or the other option is step out of nannying altogether and try something new. You know, that's a scary option for me because all I've ever done, all I've ever known is working with children. I started out working in daycares and then shifted to solo work with nannying and just fell in love with nannying and the connection you can make with people and the one-on-one that you get with the kids that you're nannying for, and the flexibility, and it's better pay. And so I just became a career nanny. But now that I'm 31, and a lot of people do this, I mean, a lot of people do this as their career for the rest of their lives. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't. It's just, again, with nannying comes an expiration date with no matter what family you're with. So granted, yes, I stay with my families for a long time. The family before this, when we first moved to North Carolina, I was with for a year during COVID, but the family before that, when I was back home, I worked with for 6 years. So I stick with my families, and like, it blows my mind that we're on the 4th year with this family. It just goes by so quickly. So I'm really trying hard to think like, okay, what do I want my future to look like? Because, you know, family planning is going to happen sometime this year with Tim and I, and God willing, we're able to conceive at some point. You know, that's going to have to fit into whatever my decision is. And part of me feels like I'm ready for a change. Part of me feels like, you know, yeah, I want to step away from nannying and try something different because I've been doing it for so long. And, you know, throughout the years, obviously, I've gained customer service skills and all of that stuff with, again, working with families and then working in the daycare. And, you know, I'm also like part household manager with previous families, so like I have that experience of handling things. And then obviously Tim and I have our side business where I handle everything from scheduling to payments to phone calls to the customers to, you know, just everything. So I have life experience in those situations. But I also don't want to just jump into a new job that's not going to fulfill me. Working with children obviously fulfills me. So, I don't know. I'm at like a crossroads. And like, obviously, not to mention, being a nanny is very emotionally taxing. You're needed 24/7, obviously, when you're there. You're keeping these little tiny humans alive. You're helping to nourish their bodies, their brains, everything. So it's such a privilege and an honor that I've had my hand in so many amazing children's upbringings, and it's not something I take for granted or something I take lightly. I love my job. I love my career. I love being the person that, like, seeing a child walk for the first time or crawl for the first time, say their first words, being there for those moments and experiences is so special. And yeah, so obviously I have a deep love for this. I mean, my current kids were our ring bearer and flower girl in our wedding. Like, when I work for a family, we become family. My bosses are my friends. Like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and I have flexibility, and so it's a big decision, but also, you know, there's no 401k, there's no health insurance, there's no benefits, there's no like maternity leave. So for this stage in my life, I need to decide if it's gonna benefit me to stay in this career or if it's not. So there's just a lot of like changes, but again, they're not necessarily bad changes that are coming up and that we're currently going through. It's just stressful. So my brain has been consumed with a lot of wondering what our future is going to look like coming up here here in the next few months. And yeah, so that's kind of where I've been. And I, you know, kind of dabbled with the idea of like maybe looking back into daycare, but as somebody who worked in daycares for as long as I have, they are so underpaid and underappreciated, and I just don't think that that's the route I would want to go back into. I also was thinking about maybe going back to school to get my phlebotomy license here in North Carolina, because I did that back in my hometown probably like 10, 11 years ago. I went to school for that. But it's sad to say that like they just don't make that much money. Like I make more money nannying. So I also have to consider that fact too, of what would financially be the best for my husband and I. So yeah, a lot of decisions to be made. That is what my brain has been occupied with. Nothing bad, like I said, just kind of stuck in this bubble of things are changing and I don't know which direction they're going to go in, and change is scary and the unknown is scary. So I've kind of been rabbit holing down what do I want my life to look like and what can I do to genuinely make myself happy. I unfortunately have let those thoughts like consume me enough to where I just haven't been going to the gym, I haven't been doing my walking, I haven't really been watching what I'm eating, so I'm feeling very swollen and kind of bleh on that front, just because I've been so hyper focused on what are we doing in the next few months. So definitely I'm feeling better this week because I'm finally starting to kind of cut out the sugar again and do what I need to do. And not that I was eating terribly, I just wasn't eating what I normally was, and I could tell that it was making a difference because like I said, I just feel bloated and bleh and tired. I also am just about getting over my cycle, so that is also a reason why I was kind of just like, F it, I'll eat whatever I want last week, because that's always what happens to me before my period comes. So hopefully she's only here for another day or so and then she's out of here. And then on Friday, Tim and I fly home because my niece turns 1 tomorrow on Wednesday. So we're flying home for her first birthday party, which I don't understand how that happened so quickly. I don't understand. It like baffles my mind, especially because I work with kids. Like I know how fast they grow up. I know how fast this happens, but man, to see it like before your own eyes is insane. I love that little girl, and it's crazy because I'm pretty positive, like I was on here a year ago being like, we're gonna be going home once my niece is born and get to see family and all that stuff, and now I'm on here saying we're gonna go home for my niece's first birthday. So that's just absolutely wild to me. I'm so excited to see her. She's starting to walk and she's talking like crazy, and I mean, we FaceTime multiple times a day, but I'm just so excited to actually squeeze her and kiss her and hug her and spend time with everybody. So that will be nice. We'll be gone from Friday to Monday, a nice little quick trip. I am nervous about flying because of everything that's been going on recently, but luckily it's only like an hour and a half flight, so we'll be fine. Everything will be good. But that is where I've been. So I just wanted to check on you guys, say hey, see how you guys are doing. I hope everybody's having a good start to their week, and you know, we're doing good, just anxious over here. So that's the update.